In this video, Dr. Jordan Peterson explains how agoraphobic people think and how you cure them.
One of the things that's been learned about agoraphobics, for example, agoraphobics, they're usually women, they're usually in their 40s, they've usually been dependent, often someone close to them has divorced or died, or they're having heart palpitations or something like that, sometimes as a consequence of menopause, and they've accustomed themselves to seeking authority when challenged. But the problem with having heart palpitations is like, who's going to help you with that? Well, maybe you go to the emergency room, and that is what agoraphobics do. Most agoraphobics have been to the emergency room like a dozen times because they have heart palpitations, and then they feel them, then they get afraid and panic, then their heart rate goes way up, and then they think, oh my God, I'm going to die, and while I die, I'm going to make an absolute fool of myself, and everyone's going to laugh at me. So that's social rejection and biological mortality staring them right in the face. Well, so then you take an agoraphobic and you find out her background, because as I said, it's usually women, and then you start to expose that person to the things that she's afraid of. Elevators, maybe, subways, taxis. Actually, agoraphobics, really, what happens is they're not really so much afraid of places or things. What they're afraid of is being trapped in a place or a situation where they can't get away, and then if they had a heart attack, they wouldn't be able to get to an emergency ward. So that's really at the basis of the fear. And the emergency ward thing only helps to a limited degree, because if you're having a heart attack, and it's a really good one, you're dead. And so that's a place where recourse to authority is only going to take you so far, right? So it's not a good solution to the problem. Well, so what do? Well, you expose the person maybe to an elevator, and maybe the elevator is there, and you tell them, well, can you get on an elevator? And they say no. So, well, can you look at an elevator? Well, I don't think so. Well, how about some pictures of an elevator? So you show them some pictures of an elevator on Google, and maybe one with closed doors and one with open doors, and you have them look at the damn thing, because they won't want to look. They'll want to look away. But you can't look away. You have to investigate it. And then what your brain learns is that you're afraid of that thing, but you can scan it with your eyes and nothing happens. It's like the rat in the cage sniffing and realizing, well, he can sniff and he doesn't die. It's like you can look at the picture of an elevator and you don't die. Well, you do that until you're bored. And then you've learned that you can look at that elevator without dying. It's built right into you. Well, then maybe I can take you out and we'll look at a real elevator. And so I say, well, let's walk as close to that elevator as you can manage. I want you right on the edge between order and chaos, let's say. I want you to find that edge. Can you stand here? Yes. How about here? Yes. How about, that's good enough. Okay. You're standing here. Order, chaos. That's where you're at. So what happens? You stand there and you notice you don't die. And you do that long enough so you're bored with it. And then you think, well, can you step 3 feet closer? Yes, you can. Well, and maybe after 3 weeks, you say, well, we're by the door, so here's the deal. I'm going to open that door, and I'm going to hold it open, and I'm not going to play a trick on you. And so what you're going to do is just poke your head in and take a look around. And so imagine doing that. Okay, so you imagine it. Okay, now actually do it. Then I don't let go of the door. That's what evil psychotherapists do. Anyways, then you get the person inside, and what you see is they're looking at their shoes. They're in there, but they're not really in there. You say, no, you got to look. You got to look in the corners. You got to look at the numbers. You got to see that you're in this thing that you're afraid of. And so you have them look around and look around and look around. They're like the rat coming, relaxing and starting to move. Then you say, well, that's good enough. You can get out of the elevator slowly. Don't rush out. Just go out calmly. Good enough. Go home, sleep for a week, and then come back and we'll do it again. And then if you do that it depends on how fast the person is capable of advancing, but you can move people through phobias pretty fast if they trust you, and they have to trust you, and you have to be careful. You say to them, look, we will stop doing this whenever you want, as soon as you say so. So this is completely up to you. I'm not pushing you. I've got no demands on you. You want to be able to go outside again, we're going to walk through that, but you're not performing for me. This isn't a test. This isn't a contest. It's none of that. And when you're done, we're done. And you can also help people like step through that. So I was treating someone who had a needle phobia recently, and this person really felt trapped by authority figures that were medical, and this person had their reasons for it. And so the first thing I did, because we were working with this needle, was say, you're going to practice getting the hell out of here. So I'll come at you, I'll come at you with this needle, you know, I don't have a needle, but we'll pretend I do. Okay, so I'm going to move it towards you, and you're going to tell me to stop, and you're going to leave the room, because you want to see that you can. You know, and the person will think, well, I know I can. It's like, no, you don't know. You don't know. And so we're going to practice it, just like a kid pretending. And so I move forward with the non-existent needle, and they say stop, and I stop, and they say I'm leaving, and they leave, and they come back and they're smiling because they didn't know they could do that, you know. And part of them is still thinking, well, I'm a 4-year-old kid and there's no way I can get out of here, no one's going to listen to me. It's built right into them. That's like Freudian regression or fixation at an earlier developmental stage. And if you watch that, if you watch for that in people, sometimes you can see how old they are. You know, if you tap into something that they were afraid of very young, their whole facial expression will turn into that person, their body language and everything. It's very interesting. You have to watch very carefully to see it, but you can definitely see it.